Hi, everyone. This is Scott Nybakken for Dynamite Comics, and I'm here with Gargoyles creator and writer Greg Weisman to talk about his upcoming new series, Gargoyles Demona, coming to stores this May. Greg, thanks for joining us on the channel.
Thanks for having me.
So, to start off with, could you give us a quick catch up of how Gargoyles Quest left off and how it leads into the new Demona series?
So Quest left off with Demona's plans defeated, but she does manage to steal the one gargoyle egg that the clan has, Eduardo, and so the clan is pretty desperate. But that does not lead into Demona at all, the series. So mostly the series is set in the distant past, close to 1,000 years ago. And the one exception to that is Demona Zero, which is coming out for Free Comic Book Day. And that's set in the midst of Quest. While the gargoyles are searching for Demona, there's a bit in Quest where they talk about how they encountered her, but she managed to get away. And so this is one of those times that Demona encountered the gargoyles while they were searching for her during her quest, but she escaped. So, and that Free Comic Book Day, Demona Zero, is sort of a prologue. It sort of tees up the adventures in the past that we're doing in the 5-issue Demona miniseries.
So Quest is in the modern day, and the series before that,
By modern day, you mean 1997?
Modern day, like modern day for in the Gargoyles universe,
right? Yeah.
And then the previous one, Dark Ages, was set in the distant past. So with this in the past, is this part of a conscious plan to alternate chapters in the saga between the present and the past?
Not for me. I sort of have all these stories I want to tell. Some are set in the present, some are set in the past. In fact, some are set in the future, although I haven't had a chance to tell any of those yet. Mm-hmm. So to some extent, it has to do with what Dynamite and or Disney are looking for next. I present them with probably more options than they need or want. And then they sort of say, yeah, let's do that one now. And so it's not a plan on my part because I just have these stories I want to tell. And to some extent for me, the order doesn't matter. Dark Ages is set before the TV series, even before the flashbacks in the TV series. Whereas Demona is set after Awakening, after City of Stones flashbacks. It's set slightly closer to now, but still in the 11th century when it begins, and it tracks from the 11th to the 13th century. Again, Demona was awake for 1,000 years while the rest of the clan was sleeping, frozen in stone. I'm not going to pretend that in 5 issues we're going to cover 1,000 years worth of material, but we are going to cover 5 snapshots, 5 moments in time for Demona that we think are significant.
Yeah, and related to that, like the first issue of Demona is set in the familiar landscape of the British Isles, but I believe that you're going to be taking us on some far-flung journeys to exotic new locations in subsequent issues. Can you give us some hints about those upcoming stories?
Well, I'm very, as you know, Scott, very spoiler averse.
Yeah.
But I will say that the first issue is set in Northumberland, which is in the British Isles, but not in a location that we've visited in Gargoyles yet. We are going to be on the open sea. We are going to be in France. And we've got a couple other surprises coming down the road in issues 4 and 5 that I just am not ready to divulge yet.
Yep. And so Demona is one of the most complex characters in the Gargoyles universe. She's never been a simplistic, like one-dimensional villain. Am I right in thinking that we're going to gain some revealing insights into what drives her insatiable quest for power in this new title?
Yeah, I mean, it's power, it's vengeance. We're going to see, again, Demona in an intermediate stage. In other words, this isn't the innocent angel from Dark Ages, but but this isn't the full-on genocidal villain from modern day 1990s gargoyles either. So what you're seeing is something in between those two moments, and we're going to reveal some of the rationale, at least from her point of view, of why she is the way she is. And again, I'm sort of hesitant to say, I don't want to oversell. I mean, I want to oversell it because I want people to buy the comic, but I don't want the expectation to be that, oh, all your questions are answered here. Again, these are 5 snapshots over a 1,000-year period. And even these snapshots are only for the first couple hundred years, only take place within the first couple hundred years, I mean. So, there's a long way to go, but, if this is successful, we'll keep going with Demona and her past adventures, and we'll learn more every single time. But this gives you a bit of a hint of both where she's coming from and where she's headed.
Excellent. Finally, the new series is being illustrated by Frank Power, who was a key collaborator with you on the original Gargoyles show. Can you tell us some more about your work with him over the years and how he came to be involved with this new series? Had he drawn any comics before?
So Frank was my partner on Gargoyles, the TV show. We were both producers, later supervising producers. We were co-showrunners on it, and did pretty much everything together. I was sort of handling the writing and voice side, and he was sort of handling the design and direction side. But we both kibitzed on each other's stuff. He gave notes on scripts, I gave notes on storyboards, designs, etc. And then we both did post-production together. So Frank and I have been partners, allies, friends for 30 plus years now. About, I want to say 6 months ago, something like that, Frank came to me and said, he knew I'd been doing these comics for Dynamite, and he said, what if we did a Demona series during that 1,000-year gap? And this fit with both what I had in my timeline. It made sense, and it was very appealing to Dynamite and Disney. So Frank and I came up with a basic plot line for these 5 issues, which we pitched to Dynamite and Disney, and they said yes, because they are wise. And Frank's just been drawing some gorgeous stuff. I think this is his first regular comic book work, and it knocks me out. I mean, it just looks fantastic. We also got Robbie Bavard, who did colors for Gargoyles back in the SLG era, back in 2008-9, somewhere around there. And Robbie's doing some gorgeous coloring work over Frank's pencils and inks. And so it feels a little bit like getting the band back together, with it. I'm working with old friends, and it's kind of joyous for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen the Free Comic Book Day story pages, and they look spectacular. You never know that this was one of his first comic book series.
Yeah, I mean, Frank obviously has been an artist for ever. Longer than he probably would like me to admit for him, but and incredibly talented. And he's done pinups before and stuff. And he's a storyboard artist, so he understands the sequential storytelling, deep in his soul. But I don't think he's done a comic book story before. And he's, I've seen Zero, obviously, and I've seen his pencils, not his inks yet, but I've seen his pencils for issue 1, and they're both fantastic, and it's looking good.
Excellent. Well, Greg, thank you for joining us and taking us on this journey back in time. Gargoyles Demona #1 will be in stores in May, so make sure to pre-order it now. And be sure to follow Dynamite Comics on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and X to hear more about all of our upcoming releases. Thanks for watching.
Don't forget Free Comic Book Day.
That's right. Free Comic Book Day coming up in May.